Hello, Colorado Realtors. I'm Scott Peterson. Thank you for joining me for yet another edition of Legal Bites. So today is the first of a two-part, I don't want to call it series because that sounds a little bit too serious and formal, but two Legal Bites sessions that I'm going to do here, both having to do with kind of online reputation, social media, etc. So in this episode, I'm going to talk about some thoughts on protecting your online reputation. Anybody that's heard me speak to them before in a group setting, I talk about you guys work awfully hard as realtors, and you're not really given too much in terms of making your life easy. But you have one thing that you can rely on, and this number one thing that you have to think about is your reputation. That's your name, your good name, maybe your resume. But all of that is tied together with your reputation. And in today's technological world, your online reputation becomes incredibly important. There's also a scam element to this, and that's kind of what we know as of scraping scams and such, where a fraudster might take your listing, your address, and photographs and use those to maybe put it on Craigslist or someplace else, so that try and get rental scams and such, so they can maybe trick somebody into sending them a deposit for a short-term rental or longer-term rental using your listing photos, your property address, or maybe vacant listing in order to do that. And so one of the things that I want to make sure that all of you guys are aware of, and we're not endorsing Google necessarily, because I'm sure there's other services that you can use, but Google Alerts is something that certainly everybody should be familiar with. And again, I'm sure that there are other technology platforms that support a similar type of alert system. I just happen to use Google Alerts myself. And I think that it's something that you need to be aware of because, again, you need to be concerned about, as a realtor, your online reputation. If somebody's leaving bad reviews about you, making bad Yelp comments, or leaving Google reviews, or saying other things about you, maybe blogging, saying negative things about your services or anything else, you want to be aware of that. Can't tell you that there's always things that you can do to deal with it, but at least you're aware of it, and you can take maybe some steps to try and mitigate the damage that could be caused by people out trying to harm your online reputation. And then similarly with property listing addresses. So Google Alerts, very simple, free service, which is great. You can set up a Google Alert, and I would encourage any broker to always have a standing alert tying their name and maybe their brokerage name or the city, municipality where they do business, whatever it is, however you need to quantify or qualify your alerts term related to your name, but keep it out there, and you can set it up so that you get a daily alert email if something comes up with your personal name and your brokerage name or any other identifying characteristics that you might put in a Google alert. Then you get an email immediately or once a day that says, hey, you might want to check this link out because it references you. So really good precautionary device for you to make sure that you're aware of things that might be said about you online, good and bad. You can use positive reviews or positive comments to help market yourself and your business. But again, nice free service to do that. And then on the property listing side, I would encourage you as part of your listing checklist, for you listing brokers, as you take in a listing, to plug in that property address and set up a Google alert for that, at least during the term of the listing period. Because if somebody else is using your listing or your photographs or the property address in a manner that is inconsistent with how you've authorized them to do that through the MLS or IDX feed or whatever that may be, you want to know about it. You want to know if people are using your stuff and they're using it outside of the IDX feed. Or maybe there's other information that pops up, negative things that pop up about the property, positive things that pop up about the property address. Who knows what that is? But it ought to be part of your listing checklist when you take a listing on, put in the property address and set up a Google alert, at least for the term of the listing, and even for some period after the listing expires or after you've sold the listing, to make sure that it still doesn't continue to pop up, because then the buyers that end up taking that home might be frustrated that you've still got listing information or photographs or property maps or details that they don't want up there, that you've still got those out there. So I think Google Alerts is a really fantastic tool for those two specific things to help protect your online reputation and avoid using your information, your listing information, in a manner that's inconsistent with how you've authorized it to be used. So really great service, and it's free, best of all. Everybody loves free. So check out Google Alerts if you haven't already. You can also use it to set up alerts on anything, any other informational things that you might find good for business development, or to send to current or former or future clients, whatever. It's a neat service, and again, easy and free to use. So thanks very much for watching this. Pay attention for the next Legal Bites, where we're going to talk about using some kind of common sense thoughts on using social media and online advertising and things like that. As always, if you have questions or need additional information on any of this stuff, the Car Legal Hotline is available from 9 to 12 and 1 to 4, Monday through Friday. Give us a call sometime. Thanks so much.